Well, with open hearts and humble minds, the last Sunday on the beach, let us worship God. O God, origin and sustainer of the universe, in this hour and place, may our souls hear the voice and wisdom of the Spirit speaking and giving gesture in every moment through the words and the music and the presence of all who are gathered here this morning on the shores of Lake Michigan. Amen. Big thank you to, I think we're calling them just beach, Blues on the Beach this morning. Ken Olaf and Warren Beck, thank you for being here. Warren said, well, we can't sing the songs we played in the pub last night. And I said, why not?
I asked if it was appropriate to do a drinking song before communion. He said no.
I said, please do. Next week, the chapel season begins. Music by the White Stallions. You might also know them as Good on Sunday band, but I kind of like the White Stallions. Yours truly bringing the message. And today, TD, as we call him, is visiting Graceland, and I hope he enjoys it and tolerates the Elvis followers down there in Graceland. So without further ado, we will listen to Blues on the Beach.
All right. Well, for those of you who are parents, one of the great poets and songwriters of our day, my generation anyway, Bob Dylan, had a son in 1983, and he decided to write this song about his child. For his age he is wise, and he's got his mother's eyes. There's a gladness in his heart, he's young and he's wild. My only prayer is if I can't be there, oh Lord, Lord, protect my child. As his youth unfolds, yes, he seems centuries old. Just to see him play makes me smile. No matter what happens to me, no matter what my destiny, oh Lord, Lord, protect my child. While the whole world's asleep, you can look at it and weep. If you think you'll find her worthwhile, oh, I don't ask much, no material things and such. Oh Lord, Lord, protect my child. of hope and desire. In a world that's been raped and defiled, and if I fall along the way, I can't see another day. Oh Lord, protect my child. There'll be a time I hear tell when all the world will be well, when God and man will be reconciled. But until men and women lose their chains and righteousness will reign, oh Lord, protect my child. Lord, protect my child. I said, oh Lord, protect my child.
Scripture for this morning comes from Matthew 20, 1 through 16, one of my personal favorite passages. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for the usual daily wage, he sent them into the vineyard. When he went out about 9 o'clock, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and he said to them, "You also go into the vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. When he went out again about noon, about 3 o'clock, he did the same thing at each interval. And about 5 o'clock he went out and found others standing around. And he said to them, "Why are you standing here all idle all day?" They said to him, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You also go into the vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his manager, "Call the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last, then going to the first." When those hired about 5 o'clock came, each of them received the usual daily wage. When the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received the usual daily wage. And when they received it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, "These last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden all day in the scorching heat." But he replied to one of them, "Friend, I'm doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what belongs to you and go. I choose to give to this last the same as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I'm generous? So the last will be first, and the first will be last." In the Jewish tradition, we're in the middle of the high holidays, maybe you know this, known as the Days of Awe. Rosh Hashanah begins with the New Year, and Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, happens in a couple of days. This morning, I'm going to invite us to reconsider the concept and the meaning of atonement. An alternative pronunciation for the word atonement is at-one-ment. According to the Oxford Dictionary, from an etymology standpoint, at-one-ment is a more accurate pronunciation. We will talk a bit more about the theological implications of atonement versus at-one-ment in message 2 later this morning. But first, I've got 3 at-one-ment vignettes from everyday life illustrating the spirit of at-one-ment, ways in which at-one-ment practically looks and feels. First one, titled Serena Naomi. I already see you laughing. It's actually not that funny. Maybe you saw the U.S. Open Williams-Osaka match last Saturday. I did not. I simply read about it. I won't rehash or try to evaluate the Serena umpire drama for many reasons. It was a remarkable incident, seems to me, with many facets to reflect on. During the trophy ceremony in Arthur Ashe Stadium, thousands of fans were jeering repeatedly. And both Osaka, the now champion, and Williams, the runner-up in her bid to be the record-time 24th Grand Slam trophy winner, were crying. And Serena hugged Naomi and whispered in her ear, "I'm proud of you, Naomi. The crowd isn't booing you." Serena then addressed the crowd. "I know you guys were here rooting for me, and I was too, but let's make this the best moment we can. Congratulations to Naomi. No more booing." And then Naomi said, "Serena knew I was crying, and her kind words just made me happy overall." She said that post-ceremony. This was a moment of at-one-ment. At-one-ment, atonement is Serena paying $17,000 fine for her actions during the U.S. Open match, but that's far less powerful and impactful than her own act of at-one-ment with Naomi. Vignette number 2, at-one-ment. A couple of weeks ago, we went camping with friends in Rocky Mountain National Park, and we roasted s'mores after dinner. My son Henry, 3.5, proved himself to be a top-notch roaster. He patiently roasted several marshmallows for himself and for others. Henry is highly motivated when it comes to sweet treats, and is very compliant when sweets are allowed. And so took my directions on roasting very seriously. I have these very serious photos of Henry at the fire. Anyone who loves s'mores knows that by far the most critical element of the 3 elements is the marshmallow. But what happens to most marshmallows in their preparation? They go up in blaze. They're scorched by impatient s'more roasters. Yes, some claim to prefer charred marshmallow for their s'more, but this is only because, in my estimate, they've never tasted the perfection of a properly roasted marshmallow. Preparing the elements of a s'more is a very zen activity. To achieve a golden brown, crusty on the outside, gooey on the inside, the roaster has to become singly focused. Nothing else matters but attention to the marshmallow and creating that perfect marshmallow. At-one-ment with the marshmallow creates a perfect marshmallow. Atonement is eating a marshmallow you have charred or dropped in the dirt. Okay. Vignette 3 on at-one-ment. The blues, which we're fortunate enough to have this morning. You'd think we planned all this. The blues are so powerful because the blues face all of life, unfiltered, without shame. I'll look to the musicians to give me a nod on that. True? The good, the bad, the songs last night that they can't sing this morning, the embracing, the lamenting, the rejoicing, the admitting of all of life. And from this place of deep honesty and confession comes relief, does it not? Comes a state of at-one-ment, medicine to continue on and face another day. There is no atonement with the blues. There is just at-one-ment. So with that, let's have some more blues on the beach.
Stumbling all around with half a heartbeat. Once full of blind ambition, now two swollen feet. Trust, I won't let it turn for the worst. Yes, everybody's trying, only one can be first. World falling down, will it get back up again? We got a world falling down. Are we heading towards the end? Being sick and tired, that's everything I know. A culture too polluted for a healthy soul to grow. There's no time to live, only time to survive. Why have a destination if you never can arrive? World falling down, and the count is almost in. We got a world falling down. Will we make it to the end? They play a game of greed, economic terror, yeah, that's how they like to feed. Your number on a ledger, you don't suffer, you don't bleed. Yeah, there's a plot to be made, fear, misery, world falling down. Will it get back up again? We got a world falling down. Will we make it to the end? I've been stumbling all around with half a heartbeat. Now full of granted on two swollen feet. Trust is on the one-legged truck full of worst. Yeah, everybody's trying, all I got left is this world falling down. And that counter's almost 10. We got a world falling down. Will we make it to the end? We got a world falling down with too much hypocrisy. We got a world falling down. We gotta change our legacy.
From a young age, 5, 6 years old, I had difficulty believing that a blood atonement was required by God to be part of the beloved family of God. I was petrified as this little boy that I might be going to hell because I hadn't got the sinner's prayer said just right. I didn't get the formula right, or I wasn't sincere enough. I was so worried about this that I requested to talk to the senior pastor at the large church that I grew up in. We met at a steakhouse, this is a true story, called Charbroiler. No joke. I guess the pastor either really loved steaks or he reveled in the irony of our meeting place as I was worried about being charred. Probably a little both. I think my fear of being burned alive in hell, even though I had said the sinner's prayer dozens of times, was because I still had difficulty believing that the great mystery of the incarnation of Christ was a plan B, problem-solving operation required by God because the first humans messed up. Let's reimagine the situation of God, and forgive me in advance. Reimagine the situation of God and Adam for a moment with a modernized twist so maybe we'll understand it better. Imagine God was a football coach and he's watching his first string QB, Adam Goldberg, just fail on the field. He's on the sidelines. God's on the sidelines watching this. Adam throws a couple interceptions. He fumbles the snap. He forgets plays. God's over there walking up and down the sidelines, fuming. And so, God sends in backup QB to save the game. Right? Guy by the name of Jesus Christ, number 7, the number of perfection. On the back of his jersey are just his initials, JC. And Coach God on the sidelines, as he's watching this, he says, Jesus Christ, did you see what Adam just did out there? Get your helmet on, JC. He didn't curse, he was just yelling at one of his players. You're going in, JC. See if you can't score a touchdown, and tell Goldberg to get his hiney over here ASAP. Of course, Adam and JC never played football. It's a North American game. They would never do that. And God was never a football coach, clearly. But this is kind of how the story's been told. Am I right? Adam messed up, so God sent to earth God to throw nothing but strikes. And then the perfect one takes all of our flawed Adamness and makes it all magically disappear on the cross as if we believe he did so. Okay, so this has been the narrative taught by the church, Catholic, Protestant, and everything in between. This church is everything in between. I'm here to suggest, I don't have all the answers. Christ is not a backup plan because humans, beginning with Adam, screwed up. Christ is exemplar of what is possible when we open ourselves fully to God. Embodiment of love and truth. And love and truth is powerful and can threaten the powers that be so much that they execute you. This is why Christ was crucified, not as a blood sacrifice. We don't need a blood sacrifice to receive love. There has always been enough divine love for the entire universe, from the beginning of time. For 13.8 billion years, long before humans arrived on Earth, the stars, the moon, the galaxies, the cosmos, they all had divine significance. Consider the opening lines of Psalm 19. The heavens are telling the glory of God. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words. Their voice is not heard, yet their voice goes out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. It's all grace. It's all at one-ment. The way of Christ is the way of at one-ment with God, with all the cosmos from the beginning of creation. Nothing changed. In the words of Franciscan Richard Rohr, nothing changed on the cross that Jesus of Nazareth was executed on, but everything was revealed as God's suffering love for the world, so that we could change, so that we would imitate and be consumed by the same love. This is what it means to be a Christian. Not a little boy fearful that he hasn't done his things right to get the love that he deserves. The execution, I'm suggesting, of Jesus of Nazareth reveals the absurdity of sacrificial religions that seek to appease again and again and again a demanding quid pro quo oriented God. Christ's message and his action puts an end to credit-based theology. Christ's message was, and we can go through these passages another time, stop tabulating your spiritual balance sheet. Stop measuring. Stop trying to earn righteousness. Stop judging. Stop punishing. All many things that Christians are very well trained in, because we've been taught these things are precisely the way God operates. Grace and an all-pervading at one-ment with God, no matter who you are, or where you live, or what you've done, is the whole point of Christ's message. Now we've just got to wake up and realize it. I'll end with the fourth, on a light note I'll end, with a fourth and final at one-ment vignette. And this one is from Caddyshack. It's advice from Ty Webb to Danny Noonan. He says, Danny, I'm going to give you a little advice. There's a force in the universe that makes things happen. All you have to do is get in touch with it. Stop thinking. Let things happen. And be the ball, Danny. Then Ty blindfolds himself and picks an iron from his golf bag. I know you all are like reliving this scene in your head right now. He addresses the ball and hits the ball over a pond onto the green, and the ball bounces and rolls right up next to the pin. And Danny's kind of looking gobstopped. This is what you might call at one minute with the golfer, the golf club, the golf ball, and the green. And then Ty invites Danny to blindfold himself, address the ball, and Danny duffs the ball into the water. Now, at 1 minute is this. Danny has as many swings at the golf ball as he can handle, even if he has to wade into the pond to fetch the ball again and again and again. Amen.
Heaven, he said, woe to all mankind, understanding and peace of mind. If it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love. Show the world how to get along. Peace will enter when he is gone. If it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love. Wake night, count a world of trouble. My answer was always the same. One less man put an end to each damnable sin. Hey, we'll put the world in a flame. What a shame. Just because whoa, in misery, I'm not looking for sympathy. If it's not asking too much, please send us someone to love. All right, brother. While I wait night, count a world of trouble. My answer was always the same. One less man put an end to each damnable sin. Yeah, we'll put the world in a flame. What a shame. Just because whoa, in misery, I'm not looking asking for sympathy. If it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love. Heaven, peace, and to all mankind, understanding and peace of mind. If it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love. If it's not asking too much, please send me someone to love. If it's not asking too much, would you please send me someone, please send me someone to love.
This morning I found this acorn. It reminded me of a passage from Christ. He said something to this effect. If an acorn falls into the ground and dies, it will grow up into a great big oak tree. This morning, may we think of ourselves as an acorn. Be the acorn. And this morning, I invite you to sort of to put a symbolic finish to the beach season. I invite you, if you'd like, take one of these pebbles and you can throw it into the water today and think of yourself as the rock and God as the water out there, who is always waiting for you to throw yourself fully into the loving, open, welcoming, receiving hands. Amen.
We praise thee, O God, for the Son of our love, Jesus has died and has now gone above. Hallelujah, thine the glory. Hallelujah, amen. Hallelujah, thine the glory. Revive us.
anniversary. You deserve a medal. You were a child.